Counting, but it's day something under the stay-at-home rule. Time for Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. With Debbie Georgianni, I am Jerry Escher. We have Jeff, Michael, and Ryan, the show team, in place today, Debbie, and we want to talk to people about how they have been managing this time, staying at home, maybe home from work, maybe not able to go out and do a lot of the things they would like to do otherwise.
You are hilarious kicking it off on Monday like this. You're too funny, Jerry.
Usually I don't have this kind of creativity going on a Monday.
That's true.
But now that every day is Monday.
Right, every day is Monday. Isn't that a song? There was a song. Okay, anyway. Folks, we have a wonderful topic today. We want you to weigh in with your real experience that you're having right now. This was suggested by one of our listeners, Mary Ann. She says, I'm really curious. Can you guys do a show on this? And you said it's day whatever, Jerry. Well, if these stay-at-home orders, okay, we've been at home for a few weeks now, and she was wondering if it's turning out to be a vacation for you or a spiritual retreat. Ah, very interesting. And so we're going to throw out some questions there for you to answer. But at this time that you're spending at home, would you describe it, if you had to give a quick answer to somebody, has it become a vacation or a spiritual retreat? Here's the number. Go. 833-288-3986. And be honest. Come on. We need to grow and learn from this show, right, Jerry? How about you? I'll ask you, Jerry. Has it become a vacation or a spiritual retreat?
I'd say for me, definitely more of a retreat. It's given me a little bit more prayer time. But also, in addition to that, which is predominantly what it's been like for me, I've had a chance to tackle a few things on my to-do list, which I'm sure a lot of people who are listening right now could relate to that. So, yeah, do share with us, and especially if you have kids at home. How have you managed to make this? I mean, kids can get anxious about radical changes in their schedules, their routines, and so forth, not being able to go to school. How do you explain that to the kids, and how do you make like homeschooling exciting and interesting? And what are the kids are used to doing fun things at school and going on field trips and all of that. So as a family, what has this been like for you? 833-288-3986.
Okay, so we want you to call in and share what it has been like for you, like Jerry said. But here's some just, questions maybe you could think about real quickly as you're waiting on hold to get on air. The number to dial is 833-288-3986. Are you watching religious programs together as a family now? Are you choosing movies that are spiritually uplifting? How about that? That's interesting. Are you exercising more and eating better? They were saying everybody's going to gain. It's called the COVID-19. Everybody's going to
COVID-19.
Everybody's going to gain 19 pounds. Are you taking naps throughout the day? Some people say this is interesting. I'm starting to take a little 10-minute power nap. Are you working in the garden or doing a different outdoor activity? Are you praying the rosary more? Wow, interesting. Lots of questions, many angles to cover, but we need your participation. So start calling in. And really, people are listening. They want to know what's happening in your homes and what's going on. Do you consider this a vacation right now or a spiritual retreat? This is an awesome, I think, opportunity for all of us to hit that reset button and to reprioritize and to, change things around in our lives. And I do believe, I'm the same way as you, Jerry. It has definitely been a spiritual retreat for me, more than a vacation. Yeah, definitely. We are loving, Marty and I are loving going through all of our DVDs, and we are putting in every spiritual movie or documentary we have in our library. So we're loving it. It's really deepening our faith life. And Marty and I started the Consecration to St. Joseph, the book that was written by Father Donald Calloway. I want to thank Tony, our dear friend Tony, for gifting that book to us. She is amazing. And Tony, you'll be happy to know Marty and I started the consecration. So yeah, it's been really amazing spiritual journey this past 3 weeks.
It's been a little more than 3, and it sounds like it's going to be a while longer yet, at least for some of us. Hopefully the reopening will begin to happen, as we understand it, in phases before too long. But as we have spent this time self-isolating, the stay-at-home orders, that's our question for you today is how have you managed to maintain some sense of normalcy? I mean, it's almost impossible, Debbie, to go through something like this, and at any point in the day when you're doing what you'd otherwise usually be doing, this is just in the back of our minds. It's in the back of my mind, the concern, the hope, that God will intervene, that, doctors and researchers will find a way for us to get out of this as soon as possible, and that we all will do the right thing at this time. But as we're at home, how have you managed to maintain a little bit of normalcy? Debbie and I know someone who has virtual happy hours over the internet with his friends, So what kinds of things have you done to stay connected with people, even if it's not in their physical presence? 833-288-3986.
Okay, phone lines are starting to fill up, so that's good, but there's room for you. So if you have to, and we don't want you to out yourself and say, hey, you know what, you guys, you all sound great. You're watching the spiritual movies, watching EWTN round the clock. I'm not. I'm playing board games and going outside and doing something fun or something like that. It's okay. Let's talk about it. We want it that we do this together, and it's very important that we have full participation. So please don't sit this out. Don't feel like embarrassed or anything that you don't want to share what's going on in your life. We care and we want to walk with one another. So here's the number. Dial in. Will you? You feel that little nudge in your spirit. You know it's the right time to call. 833-288-3986. That's the number to call to get on your show. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Your show, exactly. And as always, there are people listening who might be asking themselves this question, Debbie. Has it been more of a retreat or a vacation, or what have I been doing? What have I not been doing to sort of maintain my peace of mind, the joy in my soul? So, dear friends, as you share, there are going to be people going, aha, I could incorporate that into my life. I could integrate that into my life. So you are the educators, you are the teachers, you inspire, you inform, you enlighten. And so as Debbie said, there's a couple of phone lines open. We would love to have you on one of those. The number is 833-288-EWTN or 833-288-3986.
So the question we're asking today is, during this time that we're all got the stay-at-home orders, are you considering it more of a vacation or a spiritual retreat? Our dear friend Marianne wants to know. She's one of our listeners. Please answer that question at 833-288-3986.
Coming up later today on Cresta in the Afternoon.
It's been 25 years since the Oklahoma City bombing, the deadliest act of domestic terrorism in our nation's history. And many know the story of Timothy McVeigh. Few know the stories of his victims and their families, Bud Welch in particular, who reached out to McVeigh's father to find forgiveness and healing. Gene Bishop tells us the story.
Cresta in the Afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
There's all kinds of prayers. There's all kinds of ways of praying. There's all kinds of methods of praying. There's a Salesian method, and Francis de Sales and Ignatius of Loyola. There's Franciscan methods and Dominican methods, and you name it, we got it. But sometimes we depend on a method too much. St. Teresa said that prayer was conversation with God. Do you have a hard time conversing with people? No, I don't have a hard time. Well, that's how it is with God.
The EWTN home video highlight for April is Hope, Our Lady of Knock. It was a time of famine, disease, and horrendous suffering. Then, a vision from heaven came to bring hope for the Irish people. Order your DVD at EWTNRC.com, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or call 1-800-854-6316.
So great to have you with us here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Jerry Usher along with Debbie Georgiani and you. And there's somebody we are missing. We have been missing her for several years since she passed away. Mother Angelica would have been 97 years old today. And for those who don't know, which would be very few of you, I'm sure, Mother was the foundress of EWTN, and it has become quite an entity of evangelization and catechesis and teaching. If you would like to learn more about Mother Angelica, visit EWTN.com/Mother Angelica. EWTN.com/Mother Angelica will get you there.
Okay, so if you want to jump in on this discussion, all you have to do is dial this number, 833-288-3986. We're asking that your time at home right now for the past several weeks, is it becoming more of a vacation or a spiritual retreat? And Karen is up first in Denver, Colorado, listening on Catholic Radio Network. She's a first-time caller. Hi, Karen. Welcome.
Welcome. How are you all?
Great.
Doing well,
How are
Karen.
you?
Thanks.
Hello.
Yep, we're here.
I'm good. So I am using this time as a retreat. I'm a dental assistant, so I can't work at home, and it has probably been the best Lent that I've ever experienced. I'm watching EWTN a lot. I'm praying. Right now, I'm doing a 10-day retreat on St. Elizabeth of the Trinity. So it's been just wonderful. I miss Mass. I miss all the sacraments, but I know that God is giving me a grace right now.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah, you're right. It would be a little hard for you to work from home until they get to technology a little bit more able to do something like that. But well, that's beautiful, Karen.
Right.
And the fact that you're seeing this as a retreat, and what you're doing is you're actually plugging things into this, doing active, intentional things that would be done on a retreat anyway. You said you're praying, you're watching more of EWTN. You made the comment it was your best Lent ever, and I would say, if we can rank our Lents, this would have been one of my better ones too. So it's funny how that is, Debbie. We're going through this pandemic, lots of concerns, lots of anxiety, a lot of fears, and yet if we approach it right with the grace of God, we can make it something very, very deep and meaningful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if we come through this was a really tough time for all of the world, and if we can come through it with a deeper relationship with God, then there's that silver lining that is with us forever. So, Karen, I think it's awesome. Now, was it something? Okay, let me just ask you this question: did you all of a sudden, when we had to, restrict our outside activities? I know it sounds like yours is an essential business and everything. So we had to restrict and we had to pull back, couldn't go to restaurants, couldn't do this and that. Did you all of a sudden, did that light bulb go off in your head and you thought, okay, this is my time that I'm going to get closer to God? Or did you just naturally kind of phase yourself into it? I'm just curious.
Well, I always have had a deep prayer life. I went to 4 years of biblical school. I wake up early in the morning and do my prayers at Divine Office, and I do all my stuff before I go to work.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you lose Karen?
No, I don't think so. I think she just finished a sentence.
Oh,
okay. That's fantastic, too. We talk about giving God the first fruits of our lives. And Karen, you're doing exactly that. The first thing you're doing in the morning is you're communing with your God and asking Him for the grace and strength and whatever it takes to get you through your day. And I know, Karen, I'll bet you, let me ask you one other quick question. That makes the whole day go better, does it not? Because you've really asked God, the Holy Spirit, to be part of your life. You've given to God, and then He gives to you throughout the rest of the day. Would you say that?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you for clarifying that. That's exactly what I was saying.
Beautiful. Karen, God bless you. Thank you so much for starting off this wonderful conversation today. We really appreciate it. I think it's helped others. Here's the beauty of Take Two. People are listening and they're like sponges. They're just absorbing what everybody else is doing, and we're helping one another. So thank you for stepping up today. We really, truly, from the bottom of our hearts, appreciate it. Thanks, Karen. Wow. Great call. I love it.
Well,
Who's
a
up
great
next?
lesson for all of us. Absolutely. Yeah. Do that first in the morning.
Do it
a lot of
first
people
in
say,
the
well,
morning.
how many people do we know, Debbie? They say, well, I'll get my prayer time in, after I'm home from work and feed the kids, take care of a bunch of things. And then you lay down in that recliner, not lay down, but you sit back in that recliner and you get about 3 beads into the Hail Mary and you wake up at 2 in the morning and go to bed. So thanks again, Karen. Pray for us, Karen.
Angel.
We'll pray for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
right.
guardian angel has to finish your prayers, right?
Thank God they can. Okay, Colton is
Karen,
a
can I just say something real quick? Did Karen say she was a dental hygienist?
dental assistant, I think she said.
Dental assistant. Okay, yeah. I love my dentist. Can I just say that? I love the whole
You're
staff,
weird.
everything. I'm weird? Okay. Thank you.
You love the
Sorry.
dentist. You don't love what the dentist does to you, right?
Well, I like they're wonderful. I just think,
Good.
it's good to have a healthy teeth. Right?
Right on, right on.
Okay, right on. Jerry, that is so 70s. I love that. Okay, Leah is, wait, Colton, I'm sorry. Hold on, Leah, don't move. Colton, Denver, Colorado, Catholic Radio Network. Hello, welcome.
Hello, how are you doing?
Go well,
how are
Colton.
you?
How are you?
Good, yeah. Just enjoying a sunny day in Denver, Colorado here.
All right, so how have you spent this time? What has it meant most to you?
Yeah, I'd say it's been more of a spiritual retreat to me. I wake up every morning and pray my holy hour, and then sometimes I do morning prayer with my roommate. And then I pretty much have been praying my rosary every day. I walk around outside and pray my rosary. And then I pray the Divine Mercy Chaplet some days too. So, yeah, it's been really nice.
Yep, yeah.
Well, you go first. It sounds like you wanted to say something.
Well, yeah, it's very similar to Karen, Colton, and this is so inspiring. Sometimes we think of religious men and women and priests, and yes, they have that obligation to pray Liturgy of the Hours and spend maybe a holy hour every day, pray the rosary and so forth. But to hear lay people like you, Colton, and Karen is so very, very inspiring. I mean, we are living in very difficult times, and that's before the COVID-19 pandemic struck the world. So I really believe we have to be grounded in prayer first and foremost every day, and it is best to get it done early in the morning. So I'm inspired yet again, Debbie.
I am as well. Colton, keep up the great the great work that you're doing, getting closer and closer to God through your prayers. I think it's so beautiful. And you know what? It's inspiring to others because it's available to all of us. And I think it's wonderful when we devote our time to deepening our relationship. Anything else you want to share, Colton, before we let you go on with your day?
Yeah, not really. Just wishing everybody out there listening to have a blessed day and stay hopeful. So,
Amen.
I love that. Stay hopeful. I'm going to write that down. Stay hopeful. I love that.
Thank you, Colton. You too. That'll free up a phone line here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. The number is 833-288-3986. Asking you today, as we've gone through these past few weeks, what has it felt more like to you? A spiritual retreat? Have you tried to make it a prayerful time? Or maybe a vacation and a little bit of time away from work. Yippee, I don't have to go to work for a while, which is probably not something to jump up and down about because many people have lost their jobs and perhaps forever. So let's hope that that is not the case for any of you who are listening. But so again, vacation versus retreat, 833-288-3986.
Okay, Leah is up next, and Leah is in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. First time caller. Hi, Leah. Welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. So one of the questions that you had was how are people integrating a sort of normalcy into their schedules and into their routines. And for my husband and I, this is actually our first Lenten season. We were in our RCIA class, and we were going to be baptized on Easter. And so that routine was obviously taken away from us to have to be able to go to class on Thursday nights and see our friends. But as the COVID-19 kind of shutdown went on, we started focusing more on other people. And so instead of feeling sort of sad about what we were expecting and having unmet expectations, I started reaching out to people and seeing what they needed. So, if our neighbors who were elderly couldn't go to the grocery store, my husband would be able to. And we actually have a lot of farms around here. So we went to the farm, and we've been dropping off vegetables to our neighbors. and, keeping track on some of our friends who are maybe not able to go out themselves and feeling that sense of isolation. So that's what we've been doing. It hasn't been probably super holy like everyone else.
No.
We're kind of brand new, but but that's what we've been doing.
It sounds very, very godly to me, Debbie and Leah, that you have been doing these things, and especially at a time like this. The Bible calls us through the works of mercy, and the church, call us to do the corporal works of mercy and the spiritual works of mercy. And among the corporal works of mercy are many of these things that you and your husband have been doing. So that is beautiful. Don't sell yourself short on this. I know we don't want to pat ourselves on the back and say, "Gee, aren't I great?" But let's recognize, when we've done something for the people of God, that it's to be a blessing to them, but also we are to take away blessings from it as well. Jesus makes that clear, I think.
Mother Teresa, do small things with great love. And it's just beautiful. Leah, I got stuck at the very beginning when you first shared that, I think you said, now just correct me if I'm wrong, you and your husband were both in RCIA, that's Rite of Christian Initiation for Adults, and you were going to come in at the Easter Vigil, and of course that didn't happen because all the churches were closed for public celebrations. Did they give you a time frame? I mean, that must have been such a huge letdown. My heart breaks because I love the Easter Vigil when folks are coming into the church. What was that like, Leah?
So when we first got that, announcement, of course, we were initially disappointed. But so 2 points to that. Number one, they did say maybe sometime in May at the Pentecost. So maybe that's when we would be inducted. It just kind of depends. But then the other thing that we've been learning about is sharing in the sufferings of Christ and his disciples. And I eventually got to the point where I felt like it is such an honor because we were really able to understand how the disciples must have felt those 3 days between Christ's death and his resurrection. We are stuck in our homes and waiting for the next word of hope. And as Easter came and went, we realized that was probably a lot like how the first Easter was, that this, this miracle of hope, Christ resurrecting, was not, it wasn't a loud happening. It was a realization that, Christ had saved the world. And I think that we were able to kind of understand that a little bit better, that, as my husband and I were uncovering this incredible message of hope, that, what we've learned in our RCIA classes and all of that, we've been uncovering that and learning how important it is to have Christ and to be able to take the Eucharist. We've never taken the Eucharist before, and so we're having to wait and share in the sufferings of really waiting to receive Christ in the way that maybe the first disciples felt. So yes, to your point, they did give us a kind of an estimate of when we can expect to be inducted, I guess. But yes, I was a little disappointed at first, but really now I feel more honored because I feel like unmet expectations is a little bit of suffering, and we felt that we could empathize with the first disciples.
Absolutely. It's a little prolonged Holy Saturday that you're going through right here. And I think the way you stated it, Leah, is so very beautiful. You have been able to draw more deeply into the passion of Christ, into that period of time when the apostles had belief, but perhaps doubt was creeping into their minds and so forth, and they were in hiding and all of this stuff. And you've been able to experience that. I would bet, if not now, not long from now, Leah, you and your husband are going to look back at this as a tremendous gift from God, even though it came at the out of necessity from such a horrible thing that's, the pandemic that's going around. But just simply boiling this down to your own experience, you are going to have a perception and a knowledge and some insights of that waiting period than most any of us ever will. I think you're blessed.
I completely agree. And Leah, I have this vision, and I pray that it does happen around Pentecost. I have this vision of tears of joy just flowing in that church. It is going to be what a celebration day. I am just, wow. Please let us know what it was like. And we just, because we've got prayers for you. And I'll tell you what, it's beautiful when we can celebrate together. So if you keep us up to date on what's happening, that would be great, okay?
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you. An early welcome home. I couldn't resist. Okay, right. Welcome home, Leah. I can't resist. I love it. I love it. The family's growing, and that's a great thing.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is, God willing, it'll happen soon, but it is going to happen, and that's something to give. I know Leah and her husband and so many others, Debbie. You think about the hundreds, the thousands of people around the world who would be fully Catholic now and be just loving every reception of Holy Communion. Right. Of course, we can do spiritual communions. Leah, we hope that you're doing that. Thank you so much for gracing our program today. We appreciate that. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, asking you, is this time staying at home and more of a retreat or a vacation for you and your family?
Raymond Arroyo.
We need EWTN Radio for the reason that Mother Angelica founded this enterprise. She saw this as a holistic approach, reaching the whole person, bringing them truth and life.
The leading Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
It's time for Family Man with Dr. Gregory Popcak.
Want to be more successful? Be humble. A study at Duke University found that successful people tend to exhibit more humility than less successful people in the same field. Being humble doesn't mean beating up on yourself or denying real gifts or talents. That's self-deprecation, which is neither a strength nor a virtue. Exercising true humility, in both the theological and psychological sense, means being willing to see that you don't have all the answers and you can learn a lot from listening to the people around you. Researchers found that humble people did a better job of adapting to new circumstances and soliciting support from others, both of which contributed to the increased success of more humble participants in the study. Jesus said that the meek will inherit the earth. Well, science and the Bible agree. Let humility be the secret of your success. I'm Dr. Greg Popcak, but you can call me Family Man.
To discover more ways faith can enrich your life, visit CatholicCounselors.com.
He is honored by the Church as a saint with the title of the Angelic Doctor.
Matthew Bunson and the Doctors of the Church.
St. Thomas Aquinas wrote a basic textbook for young theology students that became the Church's most famous guide to the faith, the Summa Theologica. It helped him earn the title Doctor of the Church. He died in 1274.
For more about the Doctors of the Church, visit doctorsofthechurch.com.
Tomorrow on More to Life, trust me.
How do you know who you can trust, or whether it's safe to trust again? We'll help you figure it out.
Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
We're asking today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie if this time at home has become more like a spiritual retreat or maybe somewhat of a vacation. We want to hear from you. So please call in at 833-288-3986. And Jerry, we have to let all of our Take Two family know that we're going to be on Jim and Joy. Can I share that? I'm so excited.
You just did.
I did. All right. It's going to be, it's this week, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Wednesday and Friday.
Wednesday. I'm so excited. Okay, that's EWTN television, so we're very excited about that. We'll be coming in virtually. Also, please stay current with us on Jerry and Debbie Facebook page. You can like us there, or standtalltoday.com. If you feel stuck in life, we have just the answer for you with the Stand Tall Life Coaching. So standtalltoday.com. And I know this story quite well, Jerry, because I was at this pledge drive when Jerome donated for this amazing icon, and I cannot wait to hear the outcome. So Jerome in Cleveland, Ohio, first-time caller, listening on the Rock. Welcome to Take Two.
Oh, good afternoon, Jerry and Debbie. It's
Hi,
nice
Jerome.
to talk to you.
Likewise, thank you.
Hi. Okay. Yes, I thought I was going to call you before, but then when I was listening to the program today, I decided this would be a good time to tell you about what happened to me. I was when I went to I finally got to India on the 20th of January, and so I didn't give the icon right away. Fact is, I gave it to the sisters that are close to the end of the vacation. But during the first days, I was reading about the Fatima apparitions, and I decided to, for some reason, up my rosary, the number of rosaries I said. So now I'm saying between 5 and 6 rosaries a day, and then of course I was in the visiting the parish and the sisters. The sisters of Mother Teresa's sisters. The compound is right next to the parish, and they have about 80 or 90 people, about 14 girls, and there's the men and the women too. So I was visiting them, and I'm having a wonderful time.
Mm. Well, Jerome, for our listeners' sake, let's back up for a little bit. Okay, so you were listening to Cleveland The Rock's Catholic Radio during the Share-a-thon, and you decided to donate to get one of these beautiful icons, angel icons that were given out during the Share-a-thon. And then you shared with the station and those of us there, and I'll tell you what, we were like just a mess with tears. You had planned on traveling with that icon to this was it a school or an orphanage? What was it, Jerome, in India?
No, it's a Mother Teresa it's a Mother Teresa home for the destitute.
Okay. So you brought the icon.
That are there have no money at all. They're so poor. It's unbelievable.
Wow. And you traveled with this icon. I believe it was the guardian angel icon you got, and you brought that there. What was the feeling like when you presented that?
Well, the sisters are very, very appreciative of everything I bring them. I brought I've also brought them medals, the St. Benedict medals. Hopefully next year I'm going to bring. I just bought a bunch of miraculous medals, but they're very appreciative of what I do for them.
Wow.
Beautiful.
God bless you, Jerome, for doing that. Yeah, it's sad. We hear stories like this, wonderful people like you, Jerome, but the way you describe them, I mean, they're the poorest of the poor, and of course, this is who Mother Teresa and her missionaries of charity ministered to, and that is so Christ-like. Jesus had such a special place in his heart for those who were down and out and the poorest of the poor. And so to see you affirming their work and going there and being an inspiration to them, I think is just absolutely fantastic, Jerome.
I agree.
Thank you.
Yeah. It was. How was the traveling? Because you said you were coming back in January. Was that any problem getting home or anything?
No, actually, I came back in February 25th. No, I had no problem.
Okay.
No problem.
All right, good.
Okay, so you're staying well. Everything's good.
Oh yes, I stay at home. I say my rosaries. I watch the mass on EWTN. Mm-hmm. I'm having a very it's like you said, it's like a retreat.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Jerome, you said 5 to 6 rosaries a day, so I don't feel bad asking this. Could you offer one of the rosaries for the whole Take Two family? We have so many intentions that are building up in our prayer books, and if you could dedicate maybe one of the rosaries to all of their intentions, that would be such a spiritual gift for all of us.
Oh, yes. I will. I will, Debbie. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so very much.
And the prayer is reciprocal too, Jerome. So you're going to have the benefit of the prayers of the entire Take Two family around the world praying for you and your intentions. So what a beautiful spiritual exchange that is, and what a great phone call. I'm inspired by Jerome.
Oh, it was amazing. When Jerome got the icon of the guardian angel, we were all at the studio. We were just so moved with emotions. I mean, it was unbelievable, and we were crying. We couldn't even go back on the air. It was because just to know that this beautiful guardian angel icon was going to travel to India, it was and to be there for those that really need to gaze upon it. Because remember, when you pray and you meditate on an icon, it reveals a spiritual truth. It's a beautiful thing. And you know how I feel about icons, Jerry. They have such deep meaning.
Yeah. Back to your calls on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, talking today as we are still in stay-at-home mode. Most of us, anyway. I heard on the news the other day, I think it was South Dakota, was it, that didn't even have a stay-at-home order. But most of us are. So how are you handling it? What is it becoming to feel like for you? Has it been a little kind of a vacation feel? Have you spiritually tried to dig a little bit deeper and make it some kind of a retreat during this time? 833-288-3986. And to Lori in Dallas, listening on Guadalupe Radio Network. And a first-time caller. Hi, Lori. Good to have you on Take Two.
Hey, Jerry and Debbie. Thank you for having me.
Sure.
Debbie had said something about you'll know if the Holy Spirit wants you to call in, so here I am. So what I've been doing is every morning I get my emails from Formed, which is Dr. Tim Gray. During Lent, he had a special meaning of the readings of that day, so I listened to him. So it's been more of a spiritual thing for me. I listen to Matthew Kelly during Dynamic Catholic via email. I signed up for that. I do my daily mass with Bishop Barron on the Word on Fire, which is amazing. And I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this, but the movie called The Chosen, it's made by Dallas Jenkins. I was telling your screener about it, and he knows all about it. It's one of the best movies out there. It starts with Mary Magdalene and her Jesus running into Mary Magdalene, and then how he collects his apostles. And I think it's more of a spiritual thing. I think one of the things that happened to me is it brought me to seek and you shall find.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank God for technology. Absolutely, thank God for technology. We mourn the fact that it is used for poisoning minds and hearts, especially young people on many occasions. But any one of us can fall prey to the dark side of technology. But the bright side, the godly side of it, is that there are so many resources to help and to make this a rich spiritual time. We would, of course, want to lead with EWTN, who are doing special, having Mass several times a day, Eucharistic adoration. But it's just a matter, Debbie, of finding those resources online. I would just say if anyone has a go-to resource or religious order or whatever, just look on their website. It's almost a guarantee they're going to be offering online masses and prayers and things like that.
Right. And Lori, I just wanted to say thank you for saying yes to that prompting of the Spirit. That's how this show has been going on so beautifully for almost 5 years. So thank you for saying yes. Also, I just wanted to say, as you were speaking about how you start off your day, you get the inspirational things that come in through email, and then you tune in and you do different things and throughout the day. This is what I started thinking. Is anyone else thinking this? Like, I'm going to ask Lori and Jerry right now. Let's just pray that when we are past this pandemic, or if God forbid it happens to rise its ugly head again in the fall or whatever, let's hope that all of these new habits, these new routines, and these new disciplines are in place firmly, and they are now part of our daily existence. What do you guys think of that? What do you think, Lori?
I love that idea. I think that I'm happier by starting my day off with the inspirations from all of the different, Matthew Kelly and Dr. Tim Gray and Bishop Barron and as well as EWTN. It makes me happier. So I think, what does it say? If you do it for 21 days, it becomes a habit or something like that? So
exactly.
With this pandemic, we're at the 21 days, so hopefully everyone else will join in and do the same. There's just so many good things out there. I mean, one thing leads to another. I started Googling different miracles that have happened, and it's just amazing to me that why aren't we spreading that on the news of all the miracles and all of the bad things that happen? So I hope it does continue. I know that in my heart I feel like I will be.
Good. Praise God. And you, Lori, and the others who have called in, who have shared their new and hopefully permanent spiritual regimes, you're all doing it of your own volition, of your own accord, which is a beautiful aspect of this. No one's obviously being forced to do this. I mean, maybe we're sort of a little more motivated to do it because of the nature of what's going on, but you're doing this on your own voluntarily. And like you said, you want to make sure that it remains a permanent part of your life. And Debbie, this is... It's one of those silver linings that can come out of something like this.
I completely agree. And this has been a wonderful show. I just want to say thank you in advance to everybody. You guys are awesome. We haven't even finished yet, and there's more to learn from you. All the great calls so far, and we've got full phone lines. That's the way to do it. So thank you again, Lori. Appreciate the call so very, very much. Ray is up next in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Sirius XM 130. That's the way you're listening, and you're a first-time caller as well. Hi, Ray. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, Ray. How are you?
Ray.
I'm doing good. My story goes, I became Catholic 3 years ago, June 4th, which was Pentecost. And this year, for Lent, I really grabbed a hold on what Lent is about by putting away my listening to the 80s music and odd stuff and not watching TV and stuff like that. And it's kind of been an extended Lent for me. I'm a truck driver, so I travel all over the place. Being isolated is easy, except for when I go home. That's hard. But waiting for the Eucharist back before I became a Catholic was kind of one of the hardest things for me because I really longed for Jesus's body and blood in the Eucharist. And I think we've all gone through this journey where we had to wait before we became Catholic or confirmed or catechumens and this Lent has really drawn me so close to understanding the Catholic faith that I can't wait for the Eucharist to come again. And I really hope it does happen for Pentecost again. And I'm just loving my Catholic faith. I listen to all the shows and the people's questions make me think more deep about my Catholic faith. And then the answers is like, wow. That just pulls it full circle.
Yeah.
I was born a cradle Protestant, and now I'm Catholic, and I'm just loving it. I fell in love with the church 3 years ago, and just let's keep going.
Well, yeah, keep going indeed, Ray. Thank you for the call. Thank you for being sensitive to the prompting of the Holy Spirit, not just to call the show today, but some years ago to become a Catholic, and when you were finally brought into the church 3 years ago, and on Pentecost, no less, which, God willing, that might happen for those who are planning to come in this year to the church. But Debbie and I always want to thank people who really go the extra mile, no pun intended, and in your case, being a truck driver, because during the shutdown, you all are obviously essential, and you bring us, the food that we eat and the things that we use in our lives, and even the toilet paper that we sometimes can't find on the shelves. So, Ray, a huge hats off to you and all of our truck drivers. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Ray. Be safe. And I want to say welcome home. 3 years ago, I love the way you said, you longed for the Eucharist, you thirst for it, and it's beautiful to hear that. And I think we need to hear that often. Those of us that are cradle Catholics, Ray, we have to remember that because we were born into it and it was very easy for us. Okay. You worked your way back home into the Catholic faith. And I just want to say that just goes to show how much you love our Lord. And I just want to say kudos to you. That is awesome. You have a really cool journey.
I'm kind of really excited about this in this light, as it's going to take all of us Catholics to really look at what's important, and that is the Eucharist. And that is, let's not take it for granted.
That's
you know,
right.
that is something that is the most important thing in our lives. Jesus dying for us and us being able to receive him freely, it's being withheld right now. And, well, spiritual communion is an awesome thing, but, man, I just can't wait.
Yeah. We all should have that longing, maybe even a little bit of pain in our heart right now that we can't receive the Eucharist. But Ray, hopefully very soon. I just wanted to go back real quick, then I'll let you go. You dated yourself, Ray. You talked about you stopped listening to 80s music, you know, and I love a lot of 80s music too. So what are you listening to now? Are you listening to Christian stuff or what?
Yeah, I'm still listening to EWTN. I haven't even turned the 80s back on. I did on Sunday because it was reruns and I heard everything. But yeah, I don't want to pick that stuff up, and I just want to continue growing in my faith and understanding the full circle of who God is.
Right. Well, you're well on your way, brother, and keep us in your prayers as you travel down the highway, and be assured of our prayers, not only for your safety, but for your continued fervor and growth in your spiritual life. Thank you, Ray and Sioux Falls, for your phone call. We really appreciate that. And that just shows, Debbie, Ray could be anywhere in the good old USA and pick up EWTN. And we need to be very, very grateful to Mother Angelica, who has passed away, but she would have been 97 years old today. And did you know, folks, EWTN Global Catholic Network, in its 38th year, is the largest religious media network in the world. Debbie, started by a little old nun in the south of the United States.
And fishing lures, right?
And
with
fishing
the sisters?
lures, yes, selling
It's
fishing
amazing.
lures.
What an amazing story. Miraculous. Miraculous. Okay, Elizabeth is up next in Syracuse, New York. She's listening on the Station of the Cross and is a first-time caller as well. Look at all the first-time callers today. Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. When you started out, Debbie, with all that list of things, all I thought of saying is all of the above, and I'm truly blessed. It's like a retreat for me. I'm 81 years old, and the world has slowed down from my speed now. And I can keep up to it. And it's so great. I can sit here in my rocking chair and be a grandma watching the little kids next door playing in the yard. And I'm out in the country, so we have space. And it's just been a real blessing to me, except, of course, not being able to go to Mass. I do listen every day on EWTN, but all of this has been, for me, I feel guilty because, you know, I hear people being so sad because they can't do this and they can't do that, and I get to sit back for a while and rest in between my household duties and stuff. And it's just been wonderful. And I say I'm so blessed.
Well, Elizabeth, you know what I love about what you just said? You know, first off, you said, I'm 81 years old. You're 81 years young. You are just beautiful. What a wonderful soul you are. And I just love the way you said, I sit in my rocking chair and I look at the kids, because I'm out in the country here. And it must be really beautiful for you because you have lived 81 amazing years on this earth. And to watch everybody kind of slow down a little bit is probably a refreshing thing because we're all racing around, passing each other by, and we barely have time for one another. And text messaging is the way to go. We don't even pick up the phone anymore. And it must be a real refreshing thing for you. And I know, I get it. It's also very, very sad that people, you know, are getting furloughed and, you know, laid off and losing their jobs and stuff like that. I get that. But just to see the world kind of slow down and breathe a little and absorb, you know, everything we can spiritually, that must feel good for you in your senior years. Am I capturing that correctly, Elizabeth?
Oh yes, and the thing of it is, I hope that people will just slow down a little bit, and the family families are getting together now. I'm not, because my kids and grandkids are scattered all over the countryside in all different states. I have, except for my son who lives with me. And but I think if we just can hold on to what we liked about this time, I hope that it will be for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Elizabeth, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead. No, please, go ahead.
No, I just, I don't know how to say it. I'm so grateful for this time. Yes, I missed the Eucharist and the Mass, but our dear pastor on Good Friday, he set up the hall very good for all of us, and he worked it out. We made appointments to go to confession. And we made appointments, and we had 10 minutes increments. And it was just so beautiful to have him do that for us. And he's feeling very lonely. He's 86, so... And I call him up because I know he's lonesome, and so I call him up to see what he's doing, and he's out in his garden now, so that helps him out, because it's just so hard for the priest to just say Mass to an empty church. It was not filled up very well before, and hopefully it will be when we get back all together.
Well, bless your pastor's beautiful heart, and all of our priests as well, who normally, like you said, would have a lot of faces looking back at them as they celebrate the Eucharist and go about their other ministry duties. So thank you, Elizabeth, so much. One thing I wanted to pull out, Debbie, that she says, we should have something that we take away from this that we like. And a lot of us are going, well, this is not anything I ever want to think about again the rest of my life. But there are these beautiful experiences within the overall pandemic situation that are blessings. We've heard that from every caller here today, and Elizabeth, I think, makes a great point for us to not forget about the blessings that we've experienced during this time.
That's very true. Thank you, Elizabeth, so very much. What a precious soul you are. You can't be a first-time caller anymore, so call us anytime. Thank you. Do we have time for Sandy real quickly? Real quick.
Real quick. Yeah.
Okay, 60 seconds, Sandy in Honeybrook, Pennsylvania. Okay. Real quick. Go ahead, Sandy.
Hello. Yeah,
Hi.
Thank you so much. I love your show. Listen every day. So I want to say I'm calling this more of a vacation, and the reason is because I'm grieving the loss of the Eucharist. I'm just grieving it. But that being said, I do read my daily readings every day. We've been watching religious movies. We've been doing a lot of things together. And the other thing that I came to find to be a real blessing that I didn't realize until a few weeks in, I'm used to working 12, 16-hour days. I work 2 jobs. One of my jobs has been on hold. And so I'm home now. I'm never home. I've been with my family. I'm doing projects around the house. I'm having some relaxation time, and I'm really loving it. And, this is something I've been praying to God for years. Please, God, help me have a little more time. And I have it. Maybe not the way I wanted it, but I have it. And so I'm trying to appreciate this gift that God's given me.
Yeah, it's not easy making that kind of time for ourselves, and sometimes it does have to be sort of forced upon us, if you will, enforced time doing other things. But, Debbie, Sandy's got another beautiful perspective on this whole thing.
Oh, I completely agree. And, going back, Sandy, and when Elizabeth called in as well, the takeaways from this experience, I think there's so many things. Like you said, the projects, the home projects that you're doing and stuff. As Elizabeth was talking, and then Sandy, I was thinking to myself, I'm actually a pretty good cook. I'm a good Italian cook, and we used to go out for Italian food all the time. Now we eat it at home, and it's much better for us. And so, there's little things like that as well that you start to appreciate again. Jerry, this has been a fabulous show. Thank you, Sandy. Couldn't get to Kim and the others. We're so sorry. You can always call back on tomorrow's show. Right, Jerry?
Yeah, we've got kind of a theme running this week. Tomorrow we're going to ask you, how likely are you going to be to jump back into society when things open up for us and this is mostly behind us? So that's your question for tomorrow. Until then, have a beautiful and blessed day.
Dr. Rager